DVI has always pursued the road less traveled. First of all, I mean, as you know, David was larger than life. He was one of the most fun people in the world to be around. He really instilled in me the fact that to be a good professional in the investment advisory business, you had to be passionate about the business, you had to be passionate about your clients, you had to be passionate about your employees. His ability to manage risk, his ability to think differently. I mean, these are all things that, despite the challenge of getting there, we really have to infuse into not only our current generation, but the future generation. From humble beginnings, Quiet Quality was born.
Somebody once told me that if you're good, you can tell people. If you're really good, they'll tell you. That's really what we're at and about at DVI with Quiet Quality. We're not out loud in the community about how we do our job and the success that we've created. We're more focused on just doing it day in, day out, and letting the clients enjoy the success of that.
I joined DVI in early 1990. DVI was still more aspiration than reality. Our signature building and its unique location nestled in the woods of Forest Park was my best recruiting tool. It enabled DVI to bring on board an exceptional group of investment professionals.
The things that are behind the DVI philosophy, the things that are behind the process, the things that are behind the framework and foundation of the firm all point to doing the right thing.
We are a fiduciary. We accept that role. We always have. We take it seriously, but it also puts us in a position, an immediate position, I think, of trust in the client's eyes. We're obligated to do what's in their best interest legally.
We enter meetings with clients with the perspective of a problem solver. And the only way you're going to be able to find out what that problem is that needs to be resolved is by listening. You become more involved in things perhaps even beyond just managing their wealth.
In Central Florida is very similar to what we've tried to do here in Central Illinois. We want to be a part of the fabric of the community. We want to be the go-to place for investment professionals to come to work. We want to be known as a firm with quiet quality, with integrity. We learned early on that patience, discipline, and teamwork were the keys to success. We never lost sight of those simple fundamentals despite the market backdrop.
Then along comes the tech bubble of 1999, where if you weren't involved in internet and technology as a form of investment, you were probably not only going sideways, you were probably seeing your values go lower.
People that had been attracted to that sector and had suffered considerable losses were searching for somebody to help them figure out what to do with their portfolios. And so we went through a pretty significant growth period during that stretch. And in those conversations with clients, it became apparent to us that while we believed in our all-equity strategy at the time, risk tolerance for people was very different than it was in the 90s when the market's returns were so generous without any losses. So we developed a balanced strategy at that time.
David Vaughn was a success not due to what he created, but for what he left behind. We can only hope that the partners of DVI will achieve a similar legacy.
The independence that comes from being a partnership as opposed to being owned by a larger entity or told by corporate headquarters that this is the product of the week and you need to sell it, gives us a tremendous amount of ability to make sure we're always delivering the right service to what our clients' needs might be.
Bringing on those independent board members, we were able to put together some committees at a higher level kind of governance, one of which I feel very comfortable with is the one that took over looking at the firm-wide risk. I think helps put some structure together that says, hey, from the top down, this stuff is important.
This isn't about near-term outcomes, it's about long-term objectives, and it's really about taking chaos and complexity and turn it into simplicity.
We're hugely different from most anything else we see in this industry because of the patience that we have. We're more than willing to take on a position in a portfolio and be patient and hold it for 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, and that's unheard of in this business. It's transaction driven, and we're not.
As an investment manufacturer, we're building portfolios right here at DVI. So when we sit across the table with a client, they're getting to see and interact firsthand with the people that are actually making the decisions as to what goes into their portfolio, what goes out, and the timing for when those changes are made.
Firm Built to Last is all about creating the next generation of leadership. That's the first phase, and that's our challenge. Creating and finding that next group of professionals that can learn from us no different than the way we learned from David, and have the same commitment to all of those things that make DVI unique.
The evolution of the business structure at David Vaughn Investments, I mean, we started out as a sole proprietor. We evolved to an S corporation. We will continue to maintain this private status, independent status, with the idea that outside influences will never shape the solutions that we provide for our clients. Despite a landscape that at times appears to be challenging for an investment advisory firm, I genuinely feel like the future of DVI is bright, and we're still in the beginning of the success story, not at the end. DVI, celebrating 40 years of quiet quality.